Hi, my name's Chris of Barton Chase Photography. Today is October the 14th. It's a Monday. The weather's a lot better. I seem to start these videos commenting on the weather quite a lot. I'm going to have to look at that. I'm obviously somewhere different today. If you've seen my videos before, you'll know that I'm normally near us having a coffee and doing them first thing in the morning. Do apologise about the echo. There's not much I can do about it. I am going to invest in a proper mic, but for the moment it is what it is. And it is what it is because I really wanted to do this video today. I'm probably not going to release it today, but I wanted to film it today. And the reason that I wanted to get this out is last week was World Mental Health Day. And I didn't put anything on Facebook, I didn't acknowledge, I didn't comment on it, which I suppose I should have done. Because weirdly it ties in to my life in photography in a very real and strong way. And that's because I suffer from anxiety. Feels a little bit like revealing something which is not what it should be. Should be able to talk about these things, but here we go. This that you see, this is what I want to talk about, the way that I dress, the way that I communicate and talk to people. It's all more to a lesser or greater extent, it's a shield, it's a defence. It's a million ones pre-prepared and rehearsed and said before, reactions and ability to appear like everything's normal when my head's not exactly in a great space. And it's very important to actually acknowledge that I suffer from anxiety. Nowhere near as bad as I used to, but I suffer from anxiety and not really depression. Which is where it becomes more confusing because if you've not suffered from anxiety, it's very difficult to actually explain. Distilling it into a certain amount of words, but to try and break it down, you worry and panic all the time. You look at the future, just literally walking down the street, or having to make a telephone call, or having to do anything, and you worry about possible negative outcomes. You panic about them. You may end up not making that simple phone call for no reason whatsoever, other than you perceive that something negative will actually happen about it. It's not really explaining it very well. In the present moment time, as I am now, and I'm talking to you, there's a whole multitude of things that are going around in my head. There's a near constant feeling of being sick, the fight or flight response, as it's sometimes called. And that's what I have all the time. I'm nowhere near as bad as I used to. I've got dealing mechanisms in place where I've got a certain routine that I keep to. So, if I look at myself at the moment, in the present, and thinking about things now, I have anxiety. If I'm thinking about it in the future, I have anxiety. If I look at things in the past, which I don't, I'm very good at blocking it out, it's a mixture of anxiety with depression. But I don't have the depression because I'm very good at blocking out what happened in the past. As soon as I get near a trigger memory, I cut it out and I just close it down. I'm not sure if that makes sense. I'm not sure to people who haven't suffered from depression and anxiety, and I don't really consider myself as suffering as depression. I more consider myself as suffering from anxiety. It may not make a lot of sense, but it's, if you've got something that you worry and panic, something that you worry and panic, it's like that's constant. Sometimes you can be walking down the street and your head is so many places, it's just putting one foot in front of another that is the difficult thing. There's no thought process, you just find yourself walking down that one line, that one street, not able to actually have any destination in mind, any thoughts in mind. You're just torn up by this sickening, overwhelming feeling of panic. Now I'm nowhere near as bad as I used to be. I was a real mess, and I was very lucky enough that I had an Amanda come into my life and has become a good friend of mine. She also runs the Fabulous Pose Studios. If you want your makeup done by somebody who's absolutely fantastic, or want to hire a photography studio, also if you're hiring a photographer, you may want to think about me as well. But if you're looking for a photography studio, if you're looking for a makeup studio, look at Pose Sheffield. It's a lovely place. It's just opposite Bramall Lane. That's my pitch. I'd like to think that was more for Amanda than myself, but you know, if you're looking for a photographer, and I do good rates. But Amanda, in many ways, gave me a little bit more of a devil may care attitude. So I'm nowhere near as bad with the anxiety as I used to be. How this ties into photography then is I started as a hobby street photographer. And one of the reasons for that was that I could be walking down the street, and if it became too much for me, I could just raise the camera and take myself away from everything. So I have anxiety to actually thank for doing what I do. And although I suffer with anxiety still, it still is one of the most wonderful things to actually come into my life, because it helps me actually deal with it. And there's no great pleasure for me in the morning when I'm getting ready to leave in the morning, and I think today is the day I've got to pack a camera. As before mentioned, one of my now named cameras and a couple of my now named lenses. And nothing gives me more pleasure when I'm working with somebody and I take a photograph and it makes them happy. That's a wonderful gift to be able to actually give. And so, in many ways, I'm grateful for the anxiety side of it. I know why I have anxiety, I know why I have historically what happened to me that led me down this route, and the other things that occurred along the way. I am getting better, I'm getting help, I'm getting therapy, I'm getting support, and it is helping. It's a very slow process, and I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. And from people I've spoken to personally, I don't think they'll ever get rid of it, and they don't think they'll ever get rid of it either. I've been unofficially diagnosed with PTSD, possibly CPTSD, which I don't fully understand, but was one of those wonderful moments in my life when somebody actually turned around and said, "We believe you're suffering from PTSD, CPTSD." It's almost a relief of thinking, there's not something fucking wrong with me. There is genuinely something not fucking wrong with me. I've said fuck once and then said over twice. That's 4 times. But this is something I'd like to actually say to give hope to those of you that are suffering from anxiety. One, I'm nowhere near as bad as I used to be. So there is improvements that you can get, whether it be help or time or coping mechanisms. The second thing I'd like to say is that something else that I've started actually realising doing is that sometimes I can tune myself with certain sorts of music to actually listen to it and ground myself in the moment, so I'm living just in that second. It doesn't happen very often. It only probably will last for a minute or two, but it's such a respite. If you can find something like that, that's wonderful as well. The most important thing, and this is something that I wanted to say, is that a lot of the way mental health is portrayed, and there's a big thing at the moment about How I Film Joker, which I've not seen yet, I'll have to get around to seeing, but there's mental health as it's portrayed in the media is often portrayed as quite a sense of joke, dehumanising, a pitiful thing. That's changed an awful lot, that's how it's traditionally been taught. But what I like to think is that if you suffer from anxiety and you get through the day, that makes you a survivor. You're not weak. You've got this terrible condition and you manage to make it through the day. Whether your day is just you literally having to actually cope with it and get through it because it's crippling and it's too bad and you can't do anything else, you got through that day. If you manage to achieve 1 or 2 things that's out of the ordinary, you got through that day and you achieved it. There's been days where I've not been able to do anything and I felt so downcast myself, and the one thing that I think we should all recognise is if you've got that and made it through the day, that's a good thing, that's a positive. You're a survivor, you've survived it, you've been strong enough to overcome this terrible thing and get through it. And every single time you make an achievement during that day, then you're more than a survivor. So I'd like to take away from this that in this day and age, so many of us suffer from mental health issues. For me, it got me photography. It also has slowly improved. I know that I've still got this shield. I can't leave without the house without looking a certain way. It's like a cloak. It's like a disguise. It's like it's me but not me, if that makes sense. But it can get better. And just because you've gone through a day and it's been a terrible day and nothing's happened, you've managed to survive that day. And for those of you that don't suffer from mental health issues, recognise that in people. I don't know if this has been helpful or not. I don't know if you can hear me properly because of the sound. I need to actually do some corrections and get a hold of a mic, but I really wanted to record this while I felt I was capable of doing so. So, that being said, I will be returning to the whole photography vlog. I don't know if you like these, I don't know if anybody will watch all of these, but yeah, thank you very much if you have listened. And for those of you that have got a mental illness, be it depression or anxiety, just keep going. For those of you that haven't, respect people that have and give them all the strength that you can. Don't expect that they'll always be asking for it. I mean, I disappear sometimes for days, weeks at times in from people's lives, but just be there if they need. Thank you for listening. My name's Chris, and this has been Barton Chase Photography. Thank you very much.